Hello and welcome to GameRules.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play Rummy 5000. This is a card game for 2 to 8 players, and the number of decks you'll need will depend on the player count. In this game, you are going to be creating melds and trying to end the round by going out, meaning emptying your hand. You'll earn points based on the melds you create, and the first player to earn 5,000 points wins the game. Let's dive in and learn how to play. Play Rummy 5000 with 3 or 4 players. All you need is a single deck of cards. If you're going to play with 5 to 8 players, you will need to add a second deck. In this game, 2s are low, kings are high, and aces can either be played below the 2 or above the king. In this game, you are trying to create melds. There are 2 types of melds. The first is called a set. A set is 3 or 4 cards of the same rank. So here we have an example of a set of jacks, and here we have an example of a set of 10s if 4s are wild. The second type of meld is called a run. A run is 3 or more cards in the same suit in sequential order. At the top, we have an example of a run, queen, king, ace, and diamonds. And down below, we have an example of a run, ace through 5. With 4s being wild, the 4 of spades is standing in for the 5 of hearts. Please notice that aces can be high or they can be low. Set up the game. First, determine a dealer. That player shuffles the deck and then begins the deal. Now, the deal in this game is quite unique. Beginning with the player left of the dealer, that player receives 1 card face up. The card that is dealt face up determines how many more cards that player is going to be dealt. So 2s through 9 are worth the value of the number on the card. So if they were dealt a 2, they would get 2 more cards. A 3, 3 more cards, and so on. 10s, jacks, queens, kings, and aces are all worth 10. So here our first player would get 10 more cards. We'll make this a 2-player game. So our dealer is the only one left to get cards. They are dealt a card face up. They got a 6. So the dealer is going to get 6 more cards. Also, whichever card is dealt face up to the dealer determines the wild rank for the round. So for this round, 6s will be wild. After the cards have been dealt, each player may pick up their cards to form their hand. Typically, you will keep your hand a secret. You're not going to let your opponents see your cards, except for that first one that was dealt to you. For this example, though, we're going to play with the cards face up. The rest of the cards are then placed face down to form the stock, and you turn the top card over to begin the discard row. It is a row in this game, not a pile. As you'll see, discards are staggered off to the right. We'll see why here in a future turn. Now the player left of the dealer gets to go first, so that'll be our player at the top of the screen. A player's turn is composed of 3 phases: draw, meld, and discard. Player begins their turn by drawing, and you may either take the top card from the stock, the top card from the discard row, or a card that is buried further down in the discard row. There are a couple rules that go along with that, though, and we'll see that here in a future example. For now, our player is going to start by drawing from the stock. They got a 7 of diamonds. They add that to their hand. Since they've drawn, they're now able to meld if they choose. They do have a couple 6s that are wild, so they might be able to make some things happen here. They are going to go ahead and take their wild 6 of clubs and their jack and king of spades, and they're going to form a run, jack, queen, king. When you choose to play a meld to the table, you simply make the meld and place it face up near you. You are going to earn points for the melds you make, so keep them close. However, keep them in view because other players might be able to lay off on them, and we'll see what that's all about here momentarily. Please keep in mind, you do not have to play melds. Some people like to hold their cards to keep other players from getting points. You can choose when to play your melds on future turns or right away. It's up to you. Now that our player has melded, they're going to be able to lay off on future turns. Notice there are no other melds out on the table, so they're not able to lay off right now. So we're going to have to wait to see how that works. They have made their melds, and now all they have left to do is discard, and they're going to go ahead and discard the ace of clubs. Discarding ends your turn. Now it's our dealer's turn again, our player here at the bottom of the screen. They get the same choice. They can draw from the top of the stock, the top of the discard row, or they can take a card further down on the discard row. For this example, let's have them take from the top of the discard row. They want that ace of clubs. They're going to go ahead and play their jack, king, ace, and this wild 6 of diamonds. They're going to create a jack through ace run. They'll play that to the table. Now that this player has a meld on the table, they are able to lay off. So we can see what that looks like. Our player here has the 10 of spades. This can be added to the jack, queen, and king of spades that player 1 played. This is called laying off. Now to do this, you simply show the card and announce which meld you're laying off on. So you would say, I'm going to add this to your run of jack, queen, king. Do not give your opponent the card. You are going to get points for that. So place it face up near you. All right, so our player has finished melding. They are going to end their turn by discarding, and they will discard this 3 of spades. Play passes to the opposite player. We're going to have that player begin their turn by drawing from the top of the stock. They get a 3 of hearts, and they can do something with that. So first, they will take this 2, 5, and 6. They're going to play their wild 6 as a 4. Remember, 6s are wild. So this is now a legal run. 2, 3, 4, 5. They play that to the table. Notice they also have the 9 of spades. This 9 of spades can be laid off on this 10 of spades, which was laid off on this run, the jack, queen, and king. That is a perfectly legal move. Our player here doesn't have anything else that they can do, so they are going to go ahead and discard this 3 of diamonds. They are now hoping for a 9 of diamonds to show up. Now that you've seen some good examples of laying off, I want to get to drawing from the bottom of the discard pile. All right, we have fast forwarded a couple turns here. It is the player at the bottom of the screen's turn, and they want the 4 of spades because they're going to make the meld 3, 4, 5, 6. So what they do, because they want that 4 and the 3 for that matter, they pick it up plus everything on top of it. So for this example, they're taking everything from the discard row. When you do that, you have to take all the cards on top of the one you need, and you have to play that bottom card. So our player is going to have to make a meld with that 4. Now let's just say they wanted to make a meld with 3 of diamonds. They would pick that up, they would meld the 3, and they would keep the 2 and the 5. So whatever the bottom card is that you pick up, that has to be melded right away. So let's go ahead and finish this turn. They draw, they make their meld 3, 4, 5, 6. They play that over here in their meld area. And can they lay off? 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, they can't play off on that. They have the 8 of spades that can be played off on the 9 of spades, which was played off on the 10 of spades, which was laid off on the jack, queen, king of spades. So they can play that face up. That's fun. And then they are going to go ahead and just discard the 2 of clubs. Actually, before we get to the end of the round, I do have one more rule to show you regarding wilds. If at any point during the round you have a card in your hand that is being replaced by a wild in a meld, you can lay it off and get points for it. So our player at the top of the screen has the 2, 3, 4, 5 of hearts with the wild 6 representing the 4. Our player here at the bottom of the screen has the 4 of hearts in their hand. So on their turn, they would simply say, I'm going to lay this off on that run, and they play it face up in their meld area, and they'll get points for that at the end of the round. And now we're about to see one way to end the round. It is the player at the top of the screen's turn. They draw, they get the 10 of clubs, and that can be laid off on one of the dealer's melds. So they announce the meld that it can be laid off on, they add it to their meld area, and they discard. They have just emptied their hand. This is called going out. Once a player goes out, they immediately end the round, and it will be time to tally up your score. However, if a player empties their hand and they did not discard, so let's say this 7 was playable in a meld, and they emptied their hand, but they did not discard, the round does not end. This player is now floating, so the round will continue until a player can discard and end the round. So our player here at the bottom of the screen would take their next turn, they draw a card, they discard. Now our player at the top of the screen draws Queen of Clubs. For this example, let's say this Queen of Clubs is not playable. They discard it. Now they have an empty hand. After discarding, the round ends. Okay, there's one more way that the round can end, and that is if the stock runs empty. Now at this point, let's give this player a card up here. At this point, the round will continue as long as players are drawing from the discard pile. So let's say it's the dealer's turn, and they, for some reason, want the queen. They take it, they discard a 9. Okay, play passes, and our player at the top of the screen says, I don't want to draw. That immediately ends the round. The difference is, when a player goes out, they are going to earn a scoring bonus. When the round ends because of a stock that ran out of cards, no one's going to earn that scoring bonus. When tallying up your score, you will earn points for the cards you've melded. Number cards 2 through 9 are worth 5 points each. Cards 10, Jack, Queen, and King are all worth 10 points each. Aces and wild cards are worth 100 points each. And if aces are wild for the round, they are worth 200 points each. Once the round comes to an end, each player is going to add up the points for the melds they've created. So all of the cards that you played to the table to either make new melds or to add to other players' melds, you will earn points for. Now, if a player ended the round by going out and emptying their hand, they will also earn points for any cards left in their opponent's hands. So think of that as a bonus score. However, if the draw pile runs empty and nobody has went out for the round, then nobody wins those bonus points. Everybody simply adds up the value of their melds and then adds that point total to their running score. Once the score has been tallied for the round, collect the cards, deal passes left, and continue playing rounds until one player reaches a score of 5,000 points or more. If more than one player reaches that threshold at the end of a round, it is whoever has the most points that wins. Of course, if a round ends in a tie with more than one player crossing the 5,000 point threshold, then you'll play another round until you have a true winner. And that's how to play Rummy 5000. I think there's a lot of exciting things going on with this version of Rummy. I love the way the deal is set up, the establishment of that wild card each round, and I like how it has the staggered discard pile, just like with Rummy 500. I think there's a lot of really fun elements to this game, and I think it's a worthy version of Rummy to add to your game night. If you found this video helpful, the best way you can let us know is to subscribe, ring the bell, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any questions about this game, or if there is a game you would like to see a tutorial for, let us know by commenting down below. If you would like to read the rules to this game or many others, you can head over to gamerules.com, and I have a link down in the description for that. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep on playing.